for that young prospect. And
Not.
speaking of prospects, it's that time, everybody. It's time for Prospecting with the Welsh. That's right. It's when we take a look at some of the young players in minor league baseball scratching the surface of the big leagues, or what you need to know for your dynasty league. So, Welsh, let's kick things off here with Bubba Watch, as we always like to do here on the show. Another day goes by, another Bubba Chandler start in the minor league. 7 strikeouts, 2 runs, 4 1/3 on Sunday in AAA. Do the Pirates just hate their fans? Is that all it is at this point?
I do think there's an element, though, where they're starting to look logistically across the board. I mean, you just fired your manager, your season's kind of out. You're towing the line. I don't know the dates, and it'd probably be helpful if I did, but they change of like Super 2 and having an extra year of eligibility. I think that's what we're dealing with right now, is we might be dealing with that extra year of control. And usually that's around like, late-ish May. And again, that line may have
Mid-June
moved.
is what I'm seeing right now in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so and if that's the case, listen, they don't have a ton to play for, and it has to be the case, frankly, if you look at most of the results. I do think there's like a few things that still stand out. There's some, deep counts he gets into, and there's a little bit of walk issues, but he's done a really good job of the pitch mixes. This past start, he had 15 whiffs on 41 swings. His fastball touched 100. He had 7 strikeouts. I mean, let's learn this at the major league level. But what are the Pirates playing for? So that's why when the question comes up, hey, is Bubba Chandler going to be up soon? Yeah. When? I don't know. The next one is when he should be up. He should be up tomorrow. But I think they're playing the control game right now, unfortunately. So, you got to come to terms with how you are as a fantasy owner. Can you hold him? Is he just taking up a bench spot? He will be like the most valuable starting pitching prospect once he comes up. But also, this team does suck, and it's like,
Yeah.
how different off could he be than like maybe a Mick Abel with the Phillies? Like the line actually might be kind of small. So maybe but at this point, if you've invested this long, you got to hold on Bubba.
Marcelo Mayer is starting at second base, so great glove at shortstop, but playing some second base. Why? Because Christian Campbell said, I'll play first base because I don't want to get sent down because I haven't hit a lick in the last week and a half. So good for you, Christian Campbell, taking one for the team. It looks like Campbell's going to get some work and has been working out at first base. And so far, Marcelo Mayer has been terrific at AAA. He's done everything you could possibly ask for. He's hit, he's fielded, and it looks like he's going to get his opportunity very quickly. And that could be great too, because now all of a sudden you're talking about a guy who qualifies not only at shortstop, but eventually at second base as well in some leagues. So how does that potentially increase his value, not just this year, but maybe next year as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think multi-position eligibility is going to be great. Also, that they are clearly, it's pretty trippy to me that they're like, I mean, I don't blame them asking the young guys, but that they looked at or they looked at Roman Anthony, and they're just like, we won't even consider having him move, but we'll have the guy that's in the majors right now, and Christian Campbell be the guy that moves, and then we'll also move Mayer, but we'll never move Roman Anthony. But this is clearly he's the next guy that's going to be up. Defensively, Christian Campbell has just been bad at second, but also throughout spring, he's played a bunch of different spots. And as you kind of mentioned, they said, someone asked him, hey, what's your favorite position? And he's like, whatever makes the team win, the most anti-Rafael Devers spot. But Marcelo Mayer's been pretty good. His average has lacked a little bit. He's definitely hit some homers, 47% hard hit rate in AAA, which is definitely pretty solid. He's getting the ball in the air. He's hit a 111, so he's showing some good natural raw power, and he is clearly going to be up. I got to be honest with you. I think he's up this week. I think at this point, how much longer are you going to do this experiment with Christian Campbell? I think you just throw him to the wolves. This is a guy that's played multiple spots on the infield and the outfield. I think by mid this week, we're going to see Mayer come up, and he's going to be playing second base in the majors. So he's a pickup now.
Another guy to keep an eye on, and we've touched on some of the kids down on the farm for the San Francisco Giants. Pitching at AAA, Carson Whisenhunt. I know, Welsh, that's the guy you've been looking at as well. He's got a 3 ERA, a 1 whip. Again, this is PCL numbers too, which makes it even more spectacular. 52 strikeouts, just 7 walks over 51 innings. He's the top pitching prospect in the organization. Hayden Birdsong is getting that crack right now in that rotation because they're moving on from Hicks into the bullpen. Hicks started in the bullpen, so it's not too surprising there. But if Birdsong doesn't pitch well, or there is an injury or another underperformer, could we see Whisenhunt this season?
Yes, 100%. And one thing he has going for him is he's a lefty, and they only have one lefty in the rotation. It's
Great
Robbie
point.
Ray, and they've got four righties in there. We've seen some big changes out of Whisenhunt too, and the number one has been in the form of walks. He has registered a stop up among stop. It's been just like 4 walk per nine, 5 walk per nine. It's 1.24 this year, and he's taken away on the strikeouts, but he's become way more efficient as well. Pitch usage or mix has changed just a tiny bit this year. He's not throwing a cutter as much. He's kind of going heavy sinker slide up, and he has a world-class changeup, which is a big strikeout pitch. But he has had some big command issues. So it looks like he can be not a frontline starter, but he can be in the rotation. That changeup is an absolute strikeout with pitch. I've seen him quite a bit in the AFL and out here in Arizona. That I think if Birdsong struggles, or honestly, there's some old guys, like I don't know. Like there could, whether there's an injury or some other type of change. I mean, maybe Landon Raup even doesn't work. Whisenhunt's the next guy up. That's the most important thing. He's the next guy up. He's a lefty that helps that rotation with strikeout potential. So you should watch him and watch the other guys for sure.
All right, we've watched Jac Caglianone all year at Double A just smack baseballs around. 322, 394, 553 slash with 9 homers, 43 ribbies, 2 steals, and a partridge in a pear tree. And now on Sunday, he got promoted to Triple A. So here we go. Or should I say, one of the worst offenses, one of the lowest at the bottom of the barrel in OPS right now of all teams is the Kansas City Royals. They got a little bit better recently in May, but still Welsh. They lack some power and protection for Bobby Witt. Will Jac Caglianone be that guy, and how soon could that happen?
Yeah, this is the timeline we've been talking about for quite some
Mhm.
time, because I don't think no one's really known what you do or what they are going to do with Caglione. But we said as he has progressed, it started to look more and more like there could even be this potential that they bring him up from Double A. But what you want to see is the move from Triple A. Bam, we've got it. He's leaving
Mhm.
Double A hitting 322, 9 homers. Here's the most impressive piece of it: only a 21% K percentage. That's huge because he had some huge swing and miss issues. He's played right field. He can obviously play first. He's a DH. I think this move is setting us up to post All-Star break Jac Caglianone coming up to the majors,
I like it.
especially if the Royals are still just kind of locked into this big, this division is just open right now. And if
Right.
they're locked into it, I really do think that they're going to bring him up. They're going to try him in the outfield. They might spell him, depending what's going on with Vinny Pasquantino at first base. Either way, I think his bat is getting into the lineup. They're just going to have to figure out the days they want Salvi to be DHing to make sure they're comfortable with him defensively. So here's what I watch for. Watch for the strikeout rate, watch for him hitting
Mhm.
consistently, and watch for him playing in the outfield. I think the month timeline is around that spot. So what I would do is I would pick him up pre All-Star break. I'd pick him up if he's floating out there in about 3 weeks or so, maybe a month into mid-June before we start to get the big moves. But hey, listen, if he goes and hits 400 in AAA, we might be way overshooting it. He might be up sooner rather than later, but I do believe he'll be up this year.
Lastly, I want to talk about a guy who's only recently come across my sphere in terms of the prospect world, CJ Kafis. 2 for 4 with a 2-run dinger on Sunday. He is 23 years old. He's hitting 379 in 15 games of AAA with 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and a steal. Now, the Guardians have not gotten a lot out of Carlos Santana. Let's be honest. He was kind of that stopgap veteran guy they brought back for the 1,000th time to see what they could do there. Manzardo's been more of a DH. He has struggled to hit for batting average again. Could CJ Kafis be a guy that we see sooner than later? Because as you mentioned, that division with the Royals and the Tigers and the Guardians is really tight. Minnesota Twins just getting a little healthier too. They just got Lopez back a few weeks ago, and now, of course, Royce Lewis back as well. So could we see the Guardians reach down to AAA and bring up some more offense in Kafis?
I definitely think it's a possibility. It might be kind of crazy for this team if they were to cut bait on Santana and have two very young players in Kafis and Manzardo both be that DH first base spot. I think that would make things a little difficult, but they are giving him the push. They moved him from Double A to Triple A within the first month of the season. I do think that is very telling. So far in Triple A, he's meeting the call again. He's hitting 379 in Triple A over 15 games. He's hitting homers. His strikeout rate's a little bit up. They're going to want to see that come down, but he's a left-handed hitter who's going to take take full advantage of that right-sided pull, that little wind tunnel that's happened, so you could smash some homers. I do think there's an absolute possibility if an injury happens, I think we could end up seeing him. But they're going to have to feel really comfortable, whether it's like a defensive side or the bat is ready, because they've got these other guys that can interchange. Like Gabriel Arias could like go and play first base. They keep interchanging these type of players, but Kafis, for them to move him to AAA, they're not moving him to AAA to finish the year there. He definitely is going to get a look. And offensively, he's a sneaky guy, AL only league player or deeper league if he were to be called up. I just don't think the timeline is like Cags. Like you got to wait for him to get called up. So put him on a watch list.
All right, that's prospecting with the Welsh. Make sure you go to FantasyPros.com to see more of Welsh's takes on the prospects that could impact your fantasy baseball future. Let's get to